If cannabis were legalized in your part of the world, would you start smoking it? Why or why not? It was legalized in my state about 2 years ago. The difference I see: 1. Weed stores in every previously empty storefront. 2. Sweet tax surplus in the state. 3. People openly admitting to what they were previously doing. Yappers, pretty mellow over here. No, I wouldn't, but I would try edibles. It is, and no, I smoked it when it was illegal and got burned out on it. Now it just makes me paranoid and anxious. No, I wouldn't. I still believe it should be legalized for those who would want to smoke it though. I have smoked a reasonable amount of it in the past, and now don't smoke anything. I also don't drink often, had around 10 alcoholic drinks this year, and have no issue with alcohol being legal. I am based in the UK. It is legal here. Personally, I have zero interest in smoking it, though. UK here. Since quitting cigs, I wouldn't want to smoke anything. I used to like mixing it with tobacco, but that would just get me hooked on cigarettes again, and it's too strong for me by itself. I also don't like dealing with people who I can't absolutely trust. If I could go to a licensed dispensary, I'd absolutely go the edible route though. But it's never going to happen in this Tory shithole country. They are in the process of legalizing cannabis in my state, but I will not start smoking it. I will continue smoking it. No, I don't smoke anything. It's legal here now, and yes, I started smoking. I've seen a lot of negative responses here, but everyone's different. For me, a few hits is an absolutely wonderful experience, and it makes me forget about any type of anxious thoughts I have and gives me the giggles. Lol. No, only because I work in an industry where I have to submit to random drug testing regardless of local drug laws. I'm typing this with my left hand while sparking a bowl with my right, because this nature documentary narrated by David Attenborough is much more enjoyable while blazing. I'd probably try edibles. Yes, because I have debilitating anxiety. No meds have ever worked. It's legal where I live. I smoked before and still smoke now. It's just easier to access. I don't feel judged or like I'm at risk of a felony. I would generally buy in bulk, so a QP at a time, and that was always stressful riding home from my dealer. Now it's like buying a 6-pack of beer at the store, and so many options. Plus there's tax to use elsewhere in the community, and as others have said, these dispensers take up space in places that were originally abandoned or closed for use. Prices are finally starting to come down too. 2010 would recommend legalization. It is legal in my part of the world. And no, I don't like smoking. I used to smoke cigarettes when I was an edgy university student, and that sucked. Now edibles. On the other hand, on the weekend I like to get some special cookies, and some special hot chocolate, and have a real nice time. Nah, the attraction is lost on me. I like my consciousness unaltered. Maybe I would try. I don't understand the taboo. As Snoop Dogg said, put two guys that hate each other in a room. If they drink, they will fight until death. If they take a hit on the blunt, they will start laughing and take selfies. Definitely not. Tried twice and ended up paranoid under a blanket. Probably not smoke it. More likely to cook with it. It is, and no. I hate the smell. I already do. Legalizing would just make it safer, so we don't have to actually seek up gangsters to buy from who has the market. It's strange because in my country, the government has monopoly on alcohol. Only one store sells, so all the money from drinking to them. They don't know how much they miss out on weed and what its taxes can do to help society back, etc. I would, however, start to buy it from regular stores if they sold legally. Feels safer that way, and the way America has done is impressive in my opinion. All the flavors, strains, varieties, etc. That would have been impossible to get all that from a black market, and if it was possible, it would be very hard. Also, government has some form of quality control, while the gangs not so much. Already is and am right now. Flag of Canada. Nah, Shit stinks. It eat the weed edibles for sure. Smoking is terrible for you in the long run. No. I don't want to. No. Paranoia and anxiety go through the roof. I'd start with edibles because it seems like a good stress reliever. It's already legal where I live, but it's highly overrated. I wouldn't smoke it because I'm heavily asthmatic, but I'd like to take it for legitimate medical reasons. If only to see if it works better than any of the manufactured crap pushed on me by doctors. Here in Canada it is, but I still wouldn't smoke it purely because of damage to my lungs. Even edibles honestly I don't use because the aftertaste is terrible. I smoked for 20 years every day on the hour. I would wake up in the middle of the night, smoke, go back to sleep. In Texas, Colorado is close about 5 hours to Trinidad. A few years after Colorado legalized, I could no longer get the Mexican weed I was used to, but weed became more available. It was different. I liked it at first, but my quality of life went dramatically down. One day I just quit. I have never looked back. That stuff they sell today is riddled with unnatural stuff that you shouldn't ingest. Most people I notice end up not able to smoke because of work drug tests, to which they drink excessively and kill themselves instead of just eating a brownie with some healthy cannabis oil. I have cystic fibrosis, so absolutely not. But pass me them edibles. It is legal, tried it, it's alright, but edibles are better than smoking. Smoke? No. I watched my great-grandfather die ever so slowly of emphysema, and vowed to never follow his path. Brownies? Oh, you betcha. No thanks. I try to avoid any and all drugs. I really don't ever want to be addicted to anything like that. It's legal in Canada, but we've been smoking since 2000. Shit helps my mental issues and insomnia and seizures, and Ib's life has been good. Yes. Why? Anxiety. No, I'm not a smoker. Plus, I've already tried space cake, buy a trip. It's not for me. Legal here, and I have absolutely no interest in any drugs. And I barely touch alcohol, maybe half a cooler a few times a year. Editing to add, if I was ever in the position where I had to choose between an edible or some highly addictive pharma drug for chronic pain, I'd go edible. But luckily, not an issue now. Yes, the lingering influence has a positive effect on my anxiety even when not actively being used. No, I would continue smoking it though. Probably would in some way, shape or form, just to see if it will give me some time where I can actually be pain-free. I have smoked it since 1972. Because I like it. Film at 11, probably, but only if they decided to stop testing for it for office positions. Which is dumb anyway. Not worth losing my job over. I would, but it depends on how my job would be about it. If still not able to with it in my system, then no. Belgium here. It's not legal, but we are allowed to smoke in our house away from children, duh. It's a weird system. We are allowed to own a plant but not harvest it, allowed to have it but not buy it. Pretty easy to find though. There are a lot of people that want it legalized. No. However, I would continue to smoke it. 420 upvotes now, and it's already legal here. I won't. I've got weak lungs. A cookie on the other hand. Smoke? No. Don't want the mess or the smell, which I personally really dislike. I would try some gummies though. Yes, I know. Start small. Wait for it to kick in. Why the fuck would I smoke it? I would start baking. I have enough problems as it is. I don't need to add lung problems to that list. I used to love smoking weed. Still do, but I used to too. No. For one, I hate smoke, and that includes weed. I've done edibles before and the experiences were cool, but I'm no longer interested in it. I'd rather get high on life than on drugs. No. Smoking is bad for you. Edibles. A few months ago, I smoked a joint again for the first time in 2 years and didn't go well. Maui. Basically me, my boyfriend and his friend was outside along some abandoned train tracks. His friend started smoking and offered me some, so I did because it had been a while. The first drag was fine. The second is when it hit. I was fine till I started feeling dizzy. I went over to my boyfriend and passed out. I was in and out of consciousness. I couldn't open my eyes or even move. My boyfriend called an ambulance and I got taken to hospital. Turns out I also had hypothermia from being unconscious outside, so that probably didn't help either. After that, I am never smoking it again, LMAO. No, but that's purely out of personal preference. I've tried it and I just don't really like it. I wish I could answer this, but I'm Canadian, so it is legal. Nope. The smell of it gives me a throbbing headache. I live on the Indiana-Michigan border, so it's become more frequent. Don't get me wrong, I understand why many people need it, but it's not for me. Never smoked a thing in my life. Edibles, on the other hand, quite enjoyable and far less harmful to the body than alcohol. I hope that when it's legal, people don't immediately associate it with smoking. Smoking cannabis is the least efficient way to consume it. You burn off like 80% of the cannabinoids just from combustion. Edibles or even vaping are much better for you and create far less smell to irritate people around you. My suspicion is that after several years of legalization, more and more people will move to edibles rather than smoking. Nope. No disrespect to anyone, but I really don't like the feel at best, and at worst I get hyper-paranoid. No judgment on others, just not for me. Different minds need different things. Even if cannabis was legal where I live, I wouldn't, just because of my fears of getting addicted and dumping all my cash on that trash. No, it's a drug. Why should I drug myself? No. I saw what it does to my teenage daughter. It's no fun, it's not harmless, she is on the verge to addiction, just began to fight it. It brought a lot of grief to our family and to others I know, too. I hate that stuff. Nah, I don't reckon I would. I don't know anything about it other than it's probably not an ideal stress release. Plus I'm too young to buy it anyway. Yes, if it met a few criteria. Show the amount of THC-CMD in the weed, as I am THC sensitive. If they worked out the legal amount of THC in the system during a random roadside drug test. Honestly, at this point I'm surprised Australia hasn't legalized it because of the amount of people who smoke don't want to do drugs. Regardless, weed smokers can fuck right off. Nah. I never had a tolerance for it. 1 hit I was good. 2 and I was a puddle for a couple hours. I'll stick to bourbon and scotch.